Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, tonight's Yoakum City Council meeting will have discussions on new ordinances, citizen complaints, and a major policy change.
Brush fires in Calhoun County burned nearly 1,000 acres, forcing quick action to protect homes and land.
Plus, health experts are concerned as measles cases climb in Texas and New Mexico, but vaccine rates are dropping nationwide.
We're going to have a lot of sunshine and a lot of hot, dry weather over the next few days. If you like that kind of stuff, hot temperatures will start pushing into the 90s, so our fire danger is going to be on the increase. We'll talk about it coming up in a moment.
And Victoria West and East softball battle tonight for the first time this season. I'll preview tonight's game coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker.
A Victoria Independent School District employee is arrested at Cade Middle School on multiple child sexual abuse charges. The Victoria ISD website shows 53-year-old Carlos Caceres worked in the district's maintenance department. Around 2 o'clock this afternoon, school resource officers were notified that Caceres was on the Cade Middle School campus and had outstanding felony warrants. Officers arrested him without incident. Caceres faces a felony sexual assault of a child charge and 2 felony charges of indecency with a child. Firefighters spend nearly 8 hours battling brush fires that burned almost 1,000 acres in Calhoun County. More than 50 firefighters from multiple agencies, including Port O'Connor, Seadrift, and Port Lavaca fire departments responded. They had backup from 2 dozers, 5 airplanes, a helicopter, and 11 fire trucks. Local ranchers and landowners pitched in as well, bringing drinks and food to keep the crews going. The Bayside fire is fully contained at 20 acres, while the oceanfront fire has burned over 500 acres and is 95% contained. No major injuries have been reported.
Goliad County Judge Mike Bennett ordered a 90-day outdoor burn ban for the county. Violation of the burn ban is a Class C misdemeanor. It could result in a fine of up to $500. And this brings us to our viewer poll tonight. What worries you most about wildfires? Is it property damage, or air quality, or emergency response time, or risk to firefighters? Overwhelmingly, our voters say 81%. They are worried most about wildfires, property damage. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results at 10.
The Yoakum City Council is meeting now. On the agenda tonight, a public hearing will give residents a chance to weigh in on a proposed moratorium on manufactured homes within city limits. Council members will also consider repealing an ordinance that regulates game rooms and amusement redemption machines. Plus, they will hear complaints from a resident about current and former city employees, as well as other concerns dating back to 2018. We'll have a report tonight on 25 News Now at 10.
A key Texas House committee has unanimously approved the chamber's main property tax cut proposals. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. Cool in the morning, warm in the daytime. I see a pattern taking shape here. I really do, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of everything that we get to experience every day.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Mac, is this going to continue for some time, or are we going to see a change in our weather?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to be getting very warm over the next couple of days, up to the low 90s here in the Crossroads. Areas of West Texas are going to be looking at temperatures near 100. High pressure is in control, not giving us any kind of cloud cover. We're looking longingly out on the west coast where a storm is actually bringing rain to the southwest. Will it make it to our area? We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. As measles cases in Texas and New Mexico rise, vaccine rates nationwide are falling.
According to CDC data, vaccine rates for diseases like the measles fell across more than 30 states in 2024. Lee Waldman spoke to healthcare professionals who are concerned about this trend.
5 years ago today, COVID-19 was declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization. Healthcare professionals we spoke to warn that the measles is much more contagious than COVID. They fear that if immunization rates against the measles continues to drop, we could have a big problem on our hands.
The emergence of measles needs to bother more people than it is bothering nationally right now.
Though they're states away, Dr. Jim McDonald with the New York State Department of Health is very concerned about the measles outbreak in West Texas and New Mexico.
Measles is not a harmless childhood infection. You know, if you look at the Texas outbreak in particular, a little over 1 in 5 people are ending up in a hospital.
McDonald points to falling immunization rates as the reason behind the outbreaks. CDC data found vaccination coverage among kindergartners across the U.S. dropped to 92.7% for measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine during the 2023 to 24 school year.
When vaccine rates erode, and they have eroded to the point where many jurisdictions now have vaccine rates that are well less than 95%, which is what's required to prevent measles, we're starting to see measles come back.
Dr. Paul Offit says there's an increase in vaccine skepticism and a rejection of them after the COVID-19 vaccines.
I do worry that as immunization rates continue to erode, that the children will once again suffer.
The CDC says measles has a mortality rate of 1 to 3 per 1,000 cases in children. With 2 deaths confirmed from the current outbreak, Offit fears the current number of cases is much higher than currently reported.
This is a highly contagious virus, and I don't think people realize how sick it can make you.
Both doctors we spoke to pointed to the fact that measles was eradicated in the U.S. in 2000 because of the MMR vaccine. Health departments in both Texas and New Mexico are offering this vaccine to people for free. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
A licensed embalmer from Houston is in trouble with the law after reportedly abusing a corpse. Authorities say Amber Loudermilk cut off a dead man's genitals prior to cremation and then stuffed it in her mouth. Witnesses say Loudermilk did it after learning the man was a registered sex offender. Investigators say the woman was charged with sexual assault. Loudermilk is no longer employed. She is charged with felony abuse of a corpse. State officials are seeking to suspend or revoke her license.
An InfoWars employee is the victim of a homicide in Austin. Police were called to an apartment complex on the southeast side of the city late Sunday night. Police found Jamie White in the parking lot with traumatic injuries. Officers tried to save him before Austin Travis County EMS rushed him to the hospital where he later died. Police say White was shot while confronting suspects who were burglarizing his vehicle. The suspects fled the scene. Austin police have not released any details about the suspects, but are urging anyone whose vehicle was burglarized that night to come forward. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, what investigators say led to a deadly mid-air collision over Washington and why some rule changes may now be here to stay.
Also ahead, 5 years after the pandemic was declared, how people turned lockdown hobbies into life-changing passions. Department of Education is closing its offices for about a day and a half this week.
Employees have been told it's for security reasons. A memo went out asking workers to leave their offices Tuesday night and work from home on Wednesday with plans to return the next day. Officials have not said exactly what the security issue is. This comes as the Trump administration is considering shutting down the entire department. Investigators today released a preliminary report into the mid-air collision of a military helicopter and commercial jet over Washington, D.C.
The January crash killed 67 people and led to increased scrutiny of helicopter routes in that area.
Nearly 6 weeks after a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet collided over Washington, D.C. and killed 67 people, federal officials are sharing what their investigation has so far found.
We've determined that the existing separation distances between helicopter traffic operating on Route 4 and aircraft landing on runway 33 are insufficient and pose an intolerable risk to aviation safety by increasing the chances of a mid-air collision at DCA.
The crash happened January 29th. Video obtained by CNN shows the Army helicopter from the left on a collision course with the bright lights of the passenger jet. Air traffic control alerted the Black Hawk helicopter pilots of the jet roughly 2 minutes before the crash, asking they confirm they see the jet approaching and will pass behind it.
S25, zero J in flight. S25, S1 is zero J.
This club has a aircraft inside precision separation.
The pass behind instruction from the tower may never have been heard by the chopper pilots. The crash happened seconds later. The NTSB recovered the black boxes from both the military helicopter and the jet. Wreckage from both pulled out of the icy Potomac River. No one survived. The NTSB now recommends the FAA's temporary ban of helicopters in that area become permanent. The NTSB's final report may take a year or longer to complete. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is directing the Food and Drug Administration to eliminate a food safety loophole. The rule, called Generally Recognized as Safe, allows manufacturers to add certain food additives without approval if they meet specific rules that experts deemed safe for consumption. It was intended to be applied narrowly to common ingredients such as sugar, vinegar, and baking soda. Kennedy says eliminating this loophole will get the nation's food supply back on track. Before March 2020, just 5 years ago, nobody had heard of Zoom bombing, or even Zoom for that matter, other than a setting on your cameras.
Well, 5 years later, so much of our daily lives have been changed. But for some people, their lives have taken a turn that they could never imagine. So here's ABC's Danny New.
Today marks 5 years since COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, and in the half-decade since, we have seen inspiring examples of resilience and self-reflection. For Hunter Rogers in Phoenix, that was his love for making pizza.
It was around COVID when kind of everybody had a big look in the mirror.
During that time, Hunter started experimenting with how to serve up a mean pie. And fast forward 5 years, he's just opened up a unique restaurant called Pizza to the Rescue, which donates 25% of its pizza sales to the dog rescue next door. That rescue was founded by his now fiancée. Meanwhile, for Aiden Muse and his now viral chickens in Wisconsin, the shutdown suddenly brought him his life's biggest hobby and passion.
When COVID hit, my mom and dad bought me a banjo just to bring a little bit of happiness into my life.
Aiden had plenty of time to practice, and 5 years later, he is touring the country as an internet-famous banjo prodigy. He usually leaves the chickens at home, though. And then in California, necessity became the mother of reinvention.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
When the Sacramento History Museum had to close its doors in the shutdown, its social media manager turned to its then 83-year-old volunteer who ran its nearly 200-year-old printing press.
And you said,
"What's TikTok?"
Howard's printing tutorials quickly went viral, leading to the museum becoming the most followed museum on TikTok in the world with nearly 3 million followers.
We have a cut here.
Of course, I'm sure these three folks still wish the shutdown never happened. But stories like these, where people could find silver linings in a dark time, will serve as part of the pandemic's legacy.
But a lot of people will say, "Aren't you that guy?" And I said, "Yep."
By the way, our guy Howard is still going strong in Sacramento, 87 years old now, and just taught everyone how to print a clock for daylight saving time, so you didn't forget to move the clocks. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Yeah, and he doesn't even use his thumbs for anything, so it's amazing how he could actually print some paper. Anyway, folks, lots of sunshine. It's looking pretty good. It's looking very summer-like. Temperatures are going to be climbing the rest of the week. Right now we're at 76. The wind's out of the south at 22. That gives me an idea that we're going to have a little bit of fog tomorrow morning. We managed to get up to 80 today, 40 with the overnight low. This temperature is going to be pushing into the 90s. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment. Well, I guess you're getting better and better at noticing when we have dry air and when we have humid air, right? We had the dry air that blew in over the weekend. That's why inland areas are looking at 25% humidity. But for us here along the coast, we are very close to the water's edge. So that's where the humidity is beginning to increase as the Gulf air rolls back in. Well, without moisture, we're just not going to get any rain. And with that moisture, it's enough to get a little fog right now, but probably not anything that even looks like a cloud. We're looking at the southerly winds, as you can see them blowing up through the coastal bend and all the way up into North Texas. The winds over here are coming up out of the south, and you can tell they're coming from the desert of northern Mexico. So that's a hot, dry wind. That's why areas along the Rio Grande are going to be looking at near 100-degree temperatures over the next couple of days. So that is going to be in this big dome of high pressures on top of us right now, pretty much keeping everybody in the southern half. It's almost a southern a summer map. Keeping everything away from us. Now, out on the west coast, there is a little interesting system. In fact, this one and this one, this one's enormous. That is going to be a big, wet snowstorm for the west coast. We're watching that. I would wonder, okay, is it crossing the Rockies? Is it moving here? Well, it is crossing the Rockies, but this area is not going to do much. It's this one that's going to take over. And as it moves into the plains next week, they're looking for the second round of severe weather in the plains. That may include Dallas, but at this point in time, chances for rain coming this direction are pretty slim. We do have the red flag warnings up, and maybe Victoria County is not under the red flag warning, but you saw that we had 2 separate wildfires out in Calhoun County today. So that means that all of us, you and me, and we're going to be ready rangers, watching out and make sure nothing in terms of flame takes off, because if the winds kick up, it's very hard to control. So right now we've got red flag warnings from Bexar County all the way out to El Paso. And of course, oh, this is interesting for some of you. You might want to, it's probably not going to work because it's at 2 in the morning. There's Friday is a lunar eclipse. It begins on Thursday night and at 1:58 in the morning on Friday. Okay, so at 2 in the morning. Are you going to be up? I don't know. But you can see the blood moon that's going to be passing overhead, and it ends pretty quickly at about 3 in the morning. Unless you're coming home late, you know, could be. So let's take a look at what else is happening for us. Look at these temperatures, 83 tomorrow, then 91, then 90, 86, and that's after the front comes through. And then we'll stay in the 80s. In fact, I see another warming trend beyond in the 10-day outreach. So tonight, not quite as cool as it was last night, getting down to only 61 degrees. A little bit of fog is possible early for a couple of hours. And then tomorrow's high temperatures, yes sirree, getting up to low 80s for us, 90 in San Antonio, 101 out in Laredo. So it's an early taste of summertime. As you can see on the map here, as we go to Wednesday, we will start watching the southwest coast, but it doesn't produce any precipitation this far south other than along the Red River. We'll try for the next one, okay? So tomorrow in Port Lavaca, getting up to 80 degrees, pretty good looking day with a little bit more cloud cover and the morning fog. 84 in Cuero, 7-day forecast will show you. We really don't have any expectation for any kind of rainfall. Only thing exciting in the horizon is St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, that's about it. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Shawna.
Mac, at least there's something,
yeah,
right?
The Ides of March is coming.
That's right.
Beware.
Beware.
All right, we've got some exciting news in sports as well, so we're going to send it over to Max Williams.
That's right, Shawna. After the break, Industrial Girls Powerlifting had multiple places to go to the state meet that'll be held this Thursday. Find out who some of those names are coming up in sports. All right, happy Tuesday here at Crossroads. Today we have multiple baseball and softball games across the Crossroads area and a lot of local games here in the Victoria area specifically. First with Victoria East Titans. They're currently facing the Randall Lions right now for a district game. And last time I checked, they're for East, they are up 8-2. And I got an update there. Kason Coley hit a grand slam there to help out lead that team right now. So again, it's 8-2 right now for both of these teams. Top of the standings right now, 13-3 is Victoria East, and Randall is 10-5-2 overall. And again, key players like I just mentioned, Kason Coley hitting that grand slam, but also Grayson Youngblood and Ryan Steele. So again, we'll give you the final score update later on at 10. Now for Victoria West, they play right after the conclusion of East baseball game at Riverside Stadium versus the Fort Bend Kemner Cougars in district play. It's the first district game for West, and they played really well in the VISD tournament there last week, going 3-2 overall. Looking to keep that momentum going in later on, so we'll keep an eye on West. There, probably mentioned some of these names you've heard before. Quarterback this past season, Dominic Martinez, and basketball star in Bo Woods. So see if they can keep that winning energy going in to tonight. And also in district play, the Hallettsville Brahmas are facing the Yoakum Bulldogs in district area. The first pitch will be at 7 p.m. Hallettsville heads in this game at 9-3 overall, competing well in the Jimmy Appelt tournament there last week. For Yoakum, they finished a 5-4-1, and they're going to keep an eye on Jorian Wilson there, a star athlete there for the Brahmas. Again, also their starting pitching has been great as well there for the Brahmas. We'll see how they do later on. Over to some softball action. We have the battle between East and West tonight in the matter of moments here at the Victoria Youth Sports Complex. It's the first matchup between both teams this season as West heads in at 7-8 overall, while East there is at 5-12 overall currently. West looks to get some big contributions from West. There's Andy Ramirez and Isabel Medina. Then for East, again, Micaiah and Amador is a big factor to watch out for, and Emma Luna as well. Rylan Steele. So again, see what they can do. I'll give you the highlights later on at 25 News Now at 10. Now from baseball and softball to some girls powerlifting, where the Industrial Cobras had 8 girls compete at the state meet, which will be held this Thursday at Frisco, Texas. First with Desiree Elenis getting in there, Mackenzie Elenis, so sisters there as well. Miley Elenis, Desiree Evans, Lanaya Evans, Autumn Callis, Katie Kurtz, and Kylie Panchik. There are all the names that got selected there for Industrial. Wish them luck there going on to this Thursday. And then finally there, legendary golfer had another tough injury in Tiger Woods. He suffered yet another medical setback when he ruptured his Achilles tendon in his left leg. And I'll keep out the 49-year-old off the PGA Tour there for months. And so that means he will not compete there in this upcoming Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia here in a couple of weeks. So Woods has won the Masters 5 times and overall 15 major championships. There were 3 shy there of Jack Nicklaus's record. So while Woods did not say when he might resume back into golf, the Cleveland Clinic says most Achilles ruptures take between 4 to 6 weeks to heal, so months to heal, pardon me. So we'll see if, again, Tiger Woods can get back onto the golf course there fairly soon. That's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and we're back in a moment. 2 college students in Colorado started a business they hope will inspire people to try a new type of snowboard. Tonight, 2 college students in Colorado are making a type of snowboard you may not have heard of. Unlike traditional snowboards, these powder boards or powder surfers don't have bindings, meaning you don't have to buckle in. Quinn Aiello founded the company, Camber Labs, in 2021. Aiello and his buddy Chris Haganaw met in an industrial design class. Now they create handmade powder surfers. Their products are now in stores that say it takes roughly 8 hours to make a snowboard that way.
Wow.
Anybody here on the desk has ever
just to name it.
snowboarded?
I don't like it. My boys do, and I'm wondering how can you use powder board without being engaged to the board? I don't understand. I have to see
Glue?
that.
I don't know.
Couldn't be glue. Stick your shoes on there because it's hard.
I guess it's the same way you surf out in the ocean without being
attached to the board. Yeah. Well, that's why you have a little rope onto your ankle so you don't get lost. Anyway, folks, we are looking at some really warm weather coming in. Looking at temperatures pushing not tomorrow, but on Thursday, Friday, up to 90 degrees around here. It'll be kind of the first hot day of the season because areas along the Rio Grande will be pushing at 100. That front you see on Friday night is not a big deal. It just drops the temperature 10 degrees. But then again, if you're an optimist like me, you can say, a cooling trend.
Yes. Definitely, I was going to say, definitely surfing weather over snowboarding weather.
That's for sure.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Grab the board.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.